Hey everyone, today is March 8th, 2021, and the card of the day is Jarnbjorn. Jarnbjorn is from the Thor Hero Pack. It's a unique or one per deck card in the aggression aspect, which is a cheap weapon upgrade. For one cost, you can play Jarnbjorn to your board. It has the Asgard and weapon trait, and is restricted, meaning you won't be able to have a lot of other restricted cards in play with Jarnbjorn. Its ability is response. After your hero attacks an enemy, spend a physical resource to deal 2 damage to an enemy. This is a very efficient damage ratio, spending just 1 resource to deal 2 damage. It creates a second damage source from a single attack, so instead of being able to do all damage from an attack to one enemy, your attack won't damage one enemy, but your Jarnbjorn trigger can damage something else, even getting around things like guard. It can also trigger multiple times in the same turn. You don't have to exhaust Jarnbjorn to use its ability, which makes it really powerful. Let's look at some of the key combos with the Jarnbjorn card. We have Mean Swing, also from Thor's Hero Pack. To trigger Mean Swing, you're going to have to exhaust a weapon when making a basic attack, so you can exhaust Jarnbjorn. You then increase your attack by 3. Since Jarnbjorn doesn't need to exhaust to trigger its own ability, you'll also be able to pay for Jarnbjorn after that if you would like, dealing a total of 5 extra damage from this combo. Jarnbjorn also has some great combos with some core set heroes. Black Panther has 2 upgrades that are technically attacks in his Black Panther upgrades, so once you're set up with Wakanda Forever, that gives you 2 chances to trigger Jarnbjorn or add 4 damage to your Wakanda Forever sequence, which can be really good. Iron Man has 2 sets of armored gauntlets, which are considered attacks, so those are basically free attacks that are going to let you trigger Jarnbjorn. For 2 resources per turn, you can then deal 6 damage using these cards. Really powerful. I really like to include Quinn Carrier, since it generates a wild resource, that way I can always guarantee 1 Jarnbjorn trigger per turn. One really cool combo I've seen is with Miss Marvel. You can play Surprise Attack when flipping with Miss Marvel. You can then bounce that Surprise Attack to your hand to trigger Jarnbjorn. So you could do 5 damage with just that Surprise Attack and the resource used to pay for it. Really, really cool. There's a few common rules mistakes you can make with Jarnbjorn. I think I've said this already, but it does not exhaust to trigger, so you're going to be able to use Jarnbjorn more than once per round. If you're exhausted for some other reason, you're still going to be able to trigger Jarnbjorn. It cannot be triggered when attacking to clear stunned. So if you are stunned and you make an attack to clear that stunned, you're not going to be able to trigger Jarnbjorn from that because that stunned is a replacement effect, so there's no after your hero makes an attack to trigger. It can only be triggered once per attack, so if you have a handful of physical resources, you can't perform a basic attack and just pump them all into Jarnbjorn. You're going to have to attack once per trigger of Jarnbjorn. It does not work with ally attacks and non-attack damage sources. So if Squirrel Girl attacks, or if you play Ground Stomp, that's not your hero attacking, that's something else dealing damage. Some of the cool things is it can be used to get around guard. The damage from Jarnbjorn itself is not an attack, so if anything triggers when you attack a villain, you could attack a minion and then push this damage onto the villain still to get around that trigger. That's it for this first card of the day video. Hope you all enjoyed it, and tune in tomorrow for another great quick short video.